welcome to Void MTG. Today's deck is Irenicus, also called I'm Bad at Giving Gifts. Full deck list is in the description. This deck is actually one I built for someone else as a gift. It was a fun build, but I hate playing against it. This deck has a lot of weird older cards because one of the great things about Commander is that it gives those weird old cards a home. Anyway, starting with our commander, it's Irenicus Shattered One. He is 2 in Dimir for a 3/3 elf wizard with, at the beginning of your end step, target opponent gains control of up to one target creature you control. Put 2+1/+1 counters on it, tap it. It's goaded for the rest of the game, and it gains this creature cannot be sacrificed. Lastly, whenever a creature you own but don't control attacks, you draw a card. That is a wall of text. This deck mainly just wants to give really bad gifts and then just sit back and watch chaos ensue. We do have some win cons in the deck though. Really one win con and just a bunch of ways to draw the game. First, the actual win con is Archfiend of the Dross, a 2 and double black for a 6/6 Phyrexian demon with flying. Archfiend of the Dross enters the battlefield with 4 oil counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, remove an oil counter from Archfiend. Then, if it has no oil counters on it, you lose the game. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, its controller loses 2 life. And Exchange of Words, a 1 and double blue enchantment with when Exchange of Words enters the battlefield, choose 2 target creatures. For as long as Exchange of Words remains on the battlefield, exchange the text boxes of those creatures. So you would exchange of words Archfiend of the Dross with an opponent's creature. Since the creature is already on the battlefield, it will not get any oil counters. On the opponent's next upkeep, they will lose the game. We have ways of bringing these pieces back to our hand or just rearranging them on the board so we could slowly take out each opponent. Next is 3 ways to draw the game. It's not really a win, but this is a silly deck, so this is a silly way to end the game. Bronze Bombshell is 4 generic for a 4/1 construct with when a player other than Bronze Bombshell's owner controls it, that player sacrifices it. If that player does, Bronze Bombshell deals 7 damage to them. Phylactery Lich is triple black, 5/5 zombie with indestructible, and as Phylactery Lich enters the battlefield, put a Phylactery counter on an artifact you control. When you control no permanents with Phylactery counters on them, sacrifice Phylactery Witch. And lastly is Dandan, made famous by his format. He is 2 blue for a 4/1 Dandan. He has Island Home. The important part of Island Home for us is the person we give Dandan to has no islands. They have to sacrifice him. All 3 of these will have their sacrifice trigger go on the stack. And due to the this creature cannot be sacrificed ability granted by John, their triggers cannot resolve. They will trigger again, creating a mandatory infinite loop leading to the draw of the game. Now the gifts. Not all the gifts, just the most fun and irritating gifts. Abyssal Persecutor says you can't win the game and opponents can't lose the game. So whoever has them can go to negative life, and when he is eventually removed, that player will die. Asmodeus will shut off non-black decks because every draw is now a face-down exile. And for 1 black, you could get all those cards back. But if you're not playing black, there's no Urborg, there's no treasures or anything else that can tap or create mana of any color. You're not seeing any of your cards. Ebonblade Reaper can't kill your opponents, but he could definitely take out huge chunks of their life. And with some of your non-gifty creatures, you could come in and clean up behind him. Steel Golem just shuts down creature-heavy decks. Tanawa. He is a weird old card that I found while building this deck. And I said, that just looks like fun. Playing against it really isn't fun, because every other turn, you don't have any lands. I played a game with my husband, who I built this deck for, and he gifted Tanawa to a Magus Lucia Kane player, and then he copied it and gifted the copy Tanawa to me in my Bilbo birthday celebrant deck. And that game took forever because nobody had lands half the game. I love Yukura. I wanted to build a deck around him for such a long time, but I couldn't find anything that really worked. I'm just happy I found a home for him here. You just gift him to someone, then remove him, and you've wiped someone's board. The eyes are great. These are the only 2 eye creatures in the game, so everything else is not eyes and won't be attacking. Evil Eye of Urborg also destroys creatures that block it, so it's a nice added bonus. Then what's better than giving gifts? Regifting gifts. Coveted Falcon, such a cool guy. I feel like I really slept on Murders at Karlov Manor. He is flying, and on the attack, we could gain control back of one of our gifts. Puka's Mischief is a maze, so if we kind of like where everything is, we could leave it. If we don't, we could redistribute. And there's a few instances that are going to bring the gifts back to our hands, so we could redistribute. We could also do this at instant speed. So if something's about to be destroyed, we could just bring it back and then give it to someone else. And we have quite a few ways of making copies of our gifts, so we could further distribute them across the table. We even have Irenicus's Vile Duplication, which has the same energy as when people say the title of the movie in the movie. That is it. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe, or don't. I'm just happy to be here,